Next, we'll recognize the gentleman from Nebraska, Mr. Bacon, for 5 minutes.
Appreciate y'all being here. Agriculture is the economic engine for Nebraska, so I just appreciate your expertise. So I have a question for our beef experts here and our pork experts. Just tell me the importance of USMCA here to these two industries. Start with pork,
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Bacon. Love the last name there. Once again, trade is so important to our industry. I mean, when you look at the pork industry, trade helps provide that balance. We export more than we import, and so Mexico is our #1 export market. They love our pork down there. Canada's, I believe, #5. So both of them are important to us, and the work of USMCA has been good for all three of us countries, I should say, and certainly want to continue those type of relationships in the future too.
how about for our beef side?
Yeah, we are extremely glad for the export trade that we have. We value it at about $425 a head for every animal that we produce. Is the value of exports to us. So we are excited about new markets and expanding current markets, and we fully understand that this is a very important part of our production system.
Question for you both, a follow-up. I understand some retribution towards Mexico. They were blocking our corn and doing some other things. But as Canada, to my knowledge, they've lived up to the USMCA, so I'm trying to just get my arms around I'm not sure responding to Canada with tariffs is appropriate, but has Canada been living up to the USMCA agreement? And if anybody knows differently, please let me know.
Well, I believe they have been living up to the agreement, but I think the agreement needs a few improvements. First and foremost, country of origin labeling. Secondly, they can dump their grains, wheat especially, into the U.S. market, but we are not allowed to export our wheat into the Canadian markets. This is clearly an important addition that needs to be made to the USMCA.
Oh, that's a great input. Anybody else? Okay, go ahead.
Well, I would just say that the trade and exports are complex, and as I mentioned, we get weaned pigs from Canada into the U.S. in Iowa and Minnesota, and those are good, healthy pigs that are harvested in our plants. And so we have an integrated industry, and that's why we need to continue to find ways to work together. I realize it may not be perfect for all species, but for the pork industry, it has worked well for us.
One of the big concerns I have, we were a net trade exporter 4 years ago. Not a huge trade surplus, but there was one. Now we have the biggest trade deficit in agriculture in our history, and I think it's part of the factors why we're nearing a recession in the agriculture sector. That's very concerning for me. A follow-up question to Mr. Sander and Mrs. Stavermer. There were recent federal cuts of the Meat Animal Research Center, otherwise known as the MARC in Nebraska. And a lot of these researchers lost their jobs. Can you explain the importance of our nation's research efforts to agriculture? We'll start with you, ma'am.
Well, I would say all of us in agriculture, especially those of us that graduated from land-grant universities, want to continue to see that research happen there. I mean, that information that research uncovers helps drive our industry, it helps drive the innovation, and it's important work. It fuels the next maybe vaccine, animal health program, and so need to continue to have that support in those areas, yes, so that our industry can continue to be vibrant, can continue to face the challenges that we have, and continue to be a leader in the world.
Yes, sir.
Yes, our ability to prevent and respond to a foreign disease outbreak is paramount, and it would be devastating for our industry, and so we support funding to continue that initiative. We were very glad to see the Trump administration rehire federal employees that are important to protecting the U.S. cattle herd, including research from APHIS and employees from the USFS.
As someone who worked hard to get the FMD vaccine bank funded back in 2017. I appreciate the great work our researchers do. And I think with 4 seconds left, I'm going to yield it all back to you.
Very generous, Mr. Bacon, thank you.